Hello everyone, I'm Christopher and welcome to my railroad. Today I want to give you a tour of the whole layout so that you can see what I'm working on and what has changed. For those of you who are new, thank you very much for joining me. Those of you who have been around for a while, I hope that you enjoy another tour of the whole layout so that you can see what is new, what has changed, and what kind of plans I have for the next year. So thank you very much for joining me, and let's go ahead and take a look at the whole layout. Before I take you on the tour of the layout, I'd like to show you where I got the inspiration for the design of the layout itself. This is John Armstrong's book of custom design track plans, and specific to this particular layout is this plan here. Now, originally, this is a design that he created that is based in New England area. My layout is located here in Pennsylvania. The layout room that I have is slightly bigger than the layout room that this was originally put in, plus I don't have any stairs. So this section here is actually shifted a little bit further down, which allows for the Helix area to be stretched out and allows for the peninsula to be stretched a little bit as well. This is the lower yard. This is the first part of the layout that you come to when you enter the room. This is the main yard that will be used to get cars classified, and also has the primary workshop area to take care of the engines. On the original layout design, this was actually a wharf. So I was able to get rid of the docks and put in the further tracks, and also put in the turntable and the coaling facilities. So to give you a little context of the background of this layout, the idea behind it is that it is a small, privately owned railroad that was not doing very well, and the Pennsylvania Railroad came in and purchased the trackage. So at this point, we are looking at a time period of basically the very late 1930s into the 1940s. So while the PRR is wanting to upgrade the layout to Pennsylvania standards, because of World War II, not everything is going to be able to be up to PRR specs. So there will still be older buildings, older designs, and not a lot of change is going to happen. But the PRR does want to add as much as they can. So while the engine continues to get ready to head out and collect its cut of cars, we're going to move on down to the next section of the railroad. So one of the nice things with being able to stretch out the length of the layout is that it gave me the opportunity to be able to make a longer straight run before we actually get to the end of the peninsula and around to the first wraparound heading into that tunnel there at the far end. All of the trees that you see in the background on the backdrop I've painted in, trying to use a couple of different techniques to paint them, and then of course adding in hand-built trees for more foreground presence with those trees. The first industry that's located here will get its cars delivered directly from the yard, probably by one of the yard switchers. Doesn't need to have to be on a full consist of trains. One of the things that I do want to add to this area, basically going across the tracks here, is some road, and then paint in a cut through the trees in here to show that there's more going on, be able to give some realistic access to this particular building. So the train crew has received clearance to be able to leave the yard and is going to start heading on their way. This is the opposite side of the peninsula, and we come across the next industry. I've wanted this area to be some type of a either a woodworking shop of some kind, but now I'm thinking, because of the next section that is along here, that I may change this to be some type of a grain elevator area. Haven't fully decided yet. Coming along this nice long sweeping curve, we do have a farmer's field that has to get ready to go. At the moment, my son had put Terrence the tractor here years ago, and he is still waiting in the field for some work to do. We then come around to the far end, and this is the first passing siding that is on this layout. This is the shortest passing siding, and this is made so that the trains will be able to pass each other, and also it will limit the size of the trains that are running on here. As we wrap around, we come along into the primary town area. This area is not very deep, so the majority of any town work that I put onto here is going to be on the backdrop. This is an area where I'd like to maybe use a photo backdrop to be able to show the town going through. There is also a small station here with some passenger cars ready to take a local group around. And then as we continue through here, the line that comes off of the main here and goes down into this corner, I had originally planned to be part of a coal mine. But I've since decided to make a change, and that will be talked about here very shortly. And then we come to the first bridge in this corner, and an area that I have, for the most part, completed as far as the decorations that I want to add into it. And if you look carefully inside there, you're going to see a small log cabin tucked away in those trees. And then we'll move on to the next section after we cross the bridge. So this is the area that was going to be the quarry area, or excuse me, it was going to be the coal mine area. And after some conversations and thinking about it for a little while, I've decided actually to go ahead and change this area to a sawmill area. The idea behind it, I was thinking, is that if the original owners of the railroad had a large influx of money coming from a coal mine, they probably would not have ended up needing to sell to the PRR. But sawmill, while it'll certainly bring in a lot of revenue, perhaps might not bring in the amount that was really needed, whereas the larger revenue from the PRR would be able to help it out. So just on the other side of this wall is where that sawmill area is going to be, and our train is currently along the left-hand wall here, and will be coming around the curve here in just a moment. This area is actually outside of the train room and is actually in the laundry room. So this actually pokes through on that side as it moves along, getting ready to head up into the Helix. From the last time I did a full tour of the layout, the Helix was completely open. You can now see that the back area has been filled in. This is just cardboard that I've painted black. All of this is going to then get covered with some more of this hill that's up here. So that's all going to come down into the side over here. But then the rest of this is going to get covered in curtains to be able to keep access to the trains, but not necessarily see them as they're going up the Helix. To get all the way up the Helix takes just about 3 minutes at a nice, decent speed, not going super fast. At higher speeds, we've had trains get up the Helix in just about 2 minutes. So while waiting for the train to come up the Helix, this is one of the newest areas that I've been working on. This is out in the middle of the Helix. This Helix is not large enough to really be able to functionally crawl under and inside of it for retrieving trains. And that's why that might derail. And that's why I've got the access from the outside. I've seen plenty of Helixes that are covered on the outside, so all you see is the fascia. And then if there was a derailment, you crawl inside and are able to access it as well. This also is just a single track Helix, which means the passing siding at the lower part of the Helix and there's a passing siding across the top will have to be used, and a train would have to wait if they need to pass each other at the Helix area. Up here on top of the Helix, out in the middle, this is another industry. This is a barrel manufacturing company. There were plenty of factories that made barrels here in Pennsylvania during this time, so I wanted to include that on here. The hill that is right behind it is very freshly done. It's only a few days old. You'll see some more about that in next month's video. But this area has a lot of clearly has a lot of work that needs to be done, and a lot of decorations to do, and of course constructing the building itself, which is sitting right there at the top. So moving right along through here, we've got the passing siding that I'd mentioned before. So this is where a train would have to hold in order to be able to use the Helix. Another industry here, this is a sash and door company. Again, Campbell scale model buildings. So those are going to be up in this area here. Still working on getting things laid out. I've just really started modifying this area. This was the original location for the sawmill, which is now down on the lower section. Coming straight along the top here, you're going to find that we do end up having a window. There are 2 windows in my train room, and I have no plans on covering them up. They are going to stay open. I am going to trim them out so that they look nice, get rid of all the expanded foam that is squeezed out, and make them at least very presentable. But I'm not going to box them off and hide the light coming in from them. Into the corner over here, you can see that the board that is in the back still needs to be properly painted and put into its place. It is just sitting in there and is clearly also fading a bit on the sides, so I need to get to that so that that corner can be completed. 2 more models that are in here. So another area for small industry. And then as we continue down on the far long wall of the top of the layout, we get to one of the primary industries that is on this layout, and that is the forestry industry. So as I come across, this is our main line right along here, and then the tracks down onto the base belong to the forest industry. So we'll see that here as I go around. The forest industry does have its own shed and its own facilities. So it has, if you remember from the previous tour, I had a temporary water tank in here, so now have the permanent tank along with the coaling tower, which I have not gotten around to painting yet. A lot of other things that I need to do. I had talked about shortening the sanding pit. I still want to do that. And of course the drying house needs to also stay in its position along with this. So both the main line and the forestry both come around the ends. And as we move along, get back to some of the backdrop painting. The forest industry line is slowly going downgrade. The main line is slowly going upgrade as we move on down. Coming across to another bridge. That allows the forestry industry to go underneath and into this valley, while the main line wraps around, and the hill that makes up that valley also acts as a view block, so that as you're coming around, we're just following the train. I have some trees that are on there that still need their foliage. And as we come around, we do come to a area that is going to eventually have a trestle bridge built into it. At the moment, it is just the foam that is supporting the weight of the track. But as you can see, that valley area is where the forest industry will then load up their logs and be able to get them to the sawmill. And then finally, we will get to the end of the line, which is going to take us into the upper yard. And we'll get to that in a moment. So now we finally come into the last section of the railroad. I have an industry there on the left. I have another passenger station that is along the back wall here. And as we move to the right, the yard for the upper section comes into view. Now this upper yard has sat empty for quite a long time, and if you've been following the channel, you know that I spent a very good amount of time just focused on getting all the track finally done in this area. So once the train comes up into the yard lead, the engine needs to then break off so that it can go into the servicing area, which is in this area here, and you can see that there is a back shop here at the top, along with another watering and sanding location, and also there'll be a coaling facility as well. So this is not as large an area as the bottom yard, but there would be some service on this end of the railroad as well. Now, unlike the lower yard, this doesn't have a turntable. What there actually is a Y. So the three legs of the Y are located, one here on the left, curving around to the left, comes along the back of the wall behind the facilities is the second leg of the Y, and then the third leg of the Y actually comes across the front of the facilities. Now the neat thing with this design of this layout is not only do we have the Y for turning the trains, this leg of the Y continues all the way around and goes along the back wall where the forest industry is. And that actually connects back into the main line, creating a reversing loop. Down on the bottom of the layout, if I go ahead and drop down here, the track that has the tank car on it over here, this is also a reversing loop, and you can actually see where it connects in right here. Comes along in front of the industry here and connects back into the main line up there at the front. So with having those two reversing loops, that allows the layout to also be a continuous run. So I can do operating sessions for point to point or for continuous running. Now the engine does have to drop off the cars, which it's going to do basically right in this area. There should be another engine that's going to shunt all of the cars into their appropriate tracks, which would happen during an op session, but the engine's going to get cut off and it's going to pull in front of the engine facility here, and that's where we're going to end things for this tour. So that's the tour of the layout and how it currently is. As with every train layout, there is a lot that has to get done. You can focus on one area and get it totally done. You can do a little on everything. As I continue to move through, I'm going to come back to areas that I've worked on before to be able to add more to it. And the whole thing is going to continue to grow. There's a lot to do. There's a lot that I want to put into this layout. Plus, obviously, operating the layout as well. Having fun playing with everything that's on this layout. A couple of things that I didn't talk about. I am using the Digitrax system for this. I'm actually still using the older Digitrax setup. I have not switched to the newer one. The older system is still working perfectly fine for me. I know it is something that I'll eventually have to upgrade to, and that's fine when I do that. Other than that, the whole thing is DCC controlled. I do want to add a lot of things into that system, and I've built things into what I've done so far to be able to expand out onto it, such as block detection and working with JMRI, being able to control different areas with the controller and so forth. So there's a lot that's going to happen over this next year and in the years to come. So I hope that you have enjoyed this tour of the layout and that you will continue to follow along with the construction and the build of this overall layout. I know this has been a longer video, but I wanted you to see a lot more of the layout, and just seeing the layout on its own is not a lot of fun without seeing some trains running through as well. So I wanted to add that into this also. So I hope that you've had fun and have enjoyed it. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for everybody who has subscribed to the channel and made comments in the comments section, and please continue to do so. So thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Have yourself a great year, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone.